I see it in my chat every day, right? That my teammates won't play for objectives. And it's because of exactly things like this. We walk into river and hey you, if you find jungling hard, I hope I can make it easy for you. So a few days ago, I was coaching a bronze jungler and we got into some really important stuff. And this is one of the most common mistakes I see everybody make. So this is like a highlight of that coaching session and you get all the insight. And I really do think this would help you a lot. You're going to be able to climb so much LP if you fix these mistakes. And I think they're going to simplify jungling a lot for you. And it's going to make you way more effective, less frustrated. You're going to literally climb from bronze to gold or gold to diamond if you fix these sort of mistakes. So I hope you're going to enjoy it. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about why you decided to start red buff in this game.
Sure. At this point, for the most part, I had been defaulting to red. Since then, I have swapped a little bit to actually paying attention who's top and bot. So that is a mistake that I recognized prior to this.
Yeah.
I just always defaulted to red. So
yeah. Understand.
Which in my elo is funny enough so common that you can abuse it really heavily, especially when you're Vi. I had that happen to me too often and realized that it was really bad.
Yeah, but that's fine. Many start out this way, just finding something they're comfortable with and starting with, and then go from there. But what's really important here is just to recognize the lanes as you were talking about. Maybe you don't know quite yet what's like good lanes to path to and not, but for the most part, if you're unsure, you're going to be better off pathing bot lane in just like this meta. Because it's just a little bit more explosive overall.
Okay.
So like if you're unsure, I would just like default to pathing bot lane. But for the most part, the most important thing is can the champion you're pathing towards snowball? And and do they have some sort of setup? And how are they doing in the early game? Like we're pathing towards the Nasus here. I saw you played against Mundo. So like in this lane, there's not a whole lot you can do, right? Like and Nasus too. Like he can do okay in this lane, but like it's not like Nasus has like great setup. And even if you do put a Mundo behind, it's still a Mundo, you know?
Right.
And it's not the most interactive lane. It's kind of like Nasus is farming, Mundo is farming. It's quite passive lane on both parts. So that itself, volatility is really important when you're trying to like read what kind of ganks or like lane states you tend to want to path for. So we can also see in the mid lane, we got Tryndamere and Aurelia. You can see my mouse, right?
Yeah, I can see your mouse.
Nice. So Aurelia, Tryndamere, on the other hand, they're both melee and they're quite aggressive champions, right? They do like to trade a lot. They're also squishier and they have more snowball potential because they have more damage, more mobility. So they have more agency in the early game when they do want to push leads. Like Amasis can just try to run at you and a Mundo can try to run at you, but it doesn't have the same forcing power, right?
So would the Tryndamere be something I would play for just pre-6 until he gets ulti due to his escape and survival, or?
Exactly. Like after level 6, it's quite tough to gank this lane. And maybe before, I won't put too much emphasis on it either. It's more like if there is an opportunity, you can have some good setup in this lane. But in my opinion, it's not a like insane lane that you would like to snowball because as you say, as soon as you get level 6, you can't keep punishing him. That's something you need to think about. But bot lane, even though it's Smolder and Vel'Koz, they're quite passive, but they do have some decent poke. And in mid lane, I saw it was kind of similar. It's a mage and then another ADC. These kind of lanes tend to try to poke each other quite a bit, and they also have quite like low escape, right? They can actually be quite gankable usually. Also, these poke lanes also tend to want to fight for prio, which leaves them vulnerable to getting ganked, right? So if you have an aggressive lane, that's why very often when you have a Caitlyn on your team, she loves to push, she loves to like harass at the tower. So if you're pathing bot, even though you can't get a gank, you're protecting her while she's playing aggressive, while she's poking. So these poke bot lanes are actually quite nice to path towards. First of all, because they can poke them, the enemy is quite low. And also they have pretty low escape, and they'd love to play aggressive. So even if you can't get a gank, you can deny the enemy gank, and then maybe that can be a win.
Okay, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that turns a little bit of what I was even thinking later on regarding this game, because Mundo is so weak early that I'd almost assume it'd be a good idea to try, but they are also typically sitting under tower.
Yeah.
So I think that thinking about the poke comp and them just actually getting things low before I'm able to go in is actually a really good point.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Good. So yeah, default, I would say just like path the bot lane. If you're unsure, what you should look out for is more those double enchanter lane. If the bot lane has double enchanter, that tends to be a bit more passive, right? Like if I had Nasus Mundo top, I would still path towards bot lane, even if it was a Soraka into a Lulu matchup, for example. This is not lanes with great setup or even like great harass in the early game. It's like okay, but they're more passive. But at the same time, I would still path bot, because like snowballing top lane won't do a whole lot in this scenario.
Okay. What about one more thing on that? What if the enemy bot lane is like CC heavy, for instance, like a Lux Seraphine, where it kind of makes it rather difficult to gank? Is that something that I should also take into consideration there?
A little bit, but I would think more about the escape, because the other things you can play around. Like you would just have to time your ganks and be very wary of those cooldowns. So even though they have some decent escape, many times, especially in these lower elos, they won't like respect the opportunity or like the threat of a gank. So they would kind of just like throw out their abilities and try to look for poke, try to look for like engages on your teammates, right? So you use those cooldown to like go straight for a gank. I'll do this. This is like super important in every lane. You need to recognize like what's the key ability. If they have one escape ability, maybe you can just like hold the gank for 5 seconds and see if he uses it, and maybe tell your team to try to bait it. Like it might be a little bit hard to coordinate sometimes, but it's super effective. So if they do have that core ability, let's say it's in a Tristana, for example, if there is a Tristana pushing up in the lane, they might just like try to jump on your team, and that's exactly when you go in. Or there's a Fizz who's trading really aggressively, and then he uses E. That's when you pull the trigger on the gank. If you just walk into the gank before he pulls it off, it's not going to work, right? So.
Yep, that makes complete sense. I think I need to do that more often.
Yeah, that recognizing that key ability really helps. Like just like playing around it. Yeah, so like immediately Aurelia falling behind, I'm not too surprised. It's a difficult matchup in this elo. Some good Aurelias can punish this lane, but now immediately she's losing this lane. There's pretty much no way back into this lane. She might try to ask you for ganks later on, but usually 10 out of 10 times, at least 99 under 100, it's the best to just ignore it, because even if you do get yourself a gank, you can help her out. You can save her from a dive, for example. Usually it's just a lost cause. So yeah, you might have stopped the bleeding a little bit, but it's just going to keep on bleeding, and you need to find another way to win, because losing less isn't going to make a win, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does make sense.
Yeah, we haven't looked too much with like a camera. Like I can see you paying attention on the minimap, which is good. Like I don't see your face, but I'm pretty sure I can tell that you're looking at the minimap, because you were kind of like AFK hitting it. But I would like you to see like with the camera, because you might pick up a flash, for example. You might pick up how healthy the enemy team is, and you can make decisions based on that. Like, did he escape? Is he low? Does he need to reset? This is like important things to think about. Now, when your team gets a kill in the bot lane like this, maybe sometimes you will able to see it. Like you should palm to camera when action is going down. But if not, I would just like ask my teammates here for flash. Did enemy bot lane use any sums here? That's like super important, especially before level 6. If the enemy team has flash, usually it's a no-no on the gank. So just like getting that information, like it's a small thing, and you need help from the team to make it work. But like that can be a kill. Just knowing that they don't have a flash, super important.
Yeah. Yeah, right now I have party chat only, so there's no text involved in my
Yeah.
game.
Okay.
It's just been I had a really bad streak for a bit there, and so I just needed to go on party chat.
Yeah. But that's totally fine. I can understand that. But that makes it even more important, right? To look with the camera. Maybe you can pick up some information. So we see the Jin.
Here I might have been just go in lane instead of going around. I tend to take longer, safer routes.
Yeah, he walked really far up, so you could probably go in here. But I understand why you do this completely. Charging the Q a little bit early. So I think that's the biggest mistake. Like, you miss, but it's going to be way easier to hit it if you start charging it a bit earlier, because you reach here and you max load. You can hit this for sure, but you're kind of forcing yourself to throw it too, because he can run, right? He's running with the mobility. If you can hold that longer, you can follow up a little bit later. So make sure you don't charge it too quickly. Yeah, so we're a little bit undecisive. You know?
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
So we could save so much time by just being decisive and just immediately go to her. Why is it so fat? Anyways, but just like being real direct, really decisive is gonna make such a big difference in your games. Like whenever you're not doing anything, just hit a camp. Like even if it's not completely correct, you're getting resources. You're not falling behind. Kind of walking around looking for things is like the worst thing we can do, because many times that baits us into actually doing something too, which might be a bad result. Because we feel like we're investing time into something, and then we really feel like we need to do something about it and get something from it. And if not, we're just like falling behind. So just like, if you don't see a good play, there's probably not a good play. It's not going to just like appear out of nowhere. It needs to get planned. And if you feel like you never see opportunities, it's because you're actually not like looking enough.
That's fair.
But we can't actively run around for those opportunities.
I'm sure that my thought process right there was, I need to hit my Krugs because they're up. Oh wait, Dragon's up. Maybe I should actually go get Drag. Oh wait, what if my red?
Yeah. And now
I'm 100% positive.
Yeah, and now you wasted time, right? So now you feel like you have to get into the top side because you wasted so much time doing nothing.
Yep.
That's exactly it, right? So in this time, we could have almost owned Craig's Raptors. So yeah, it's really big to just like hit your camps. If you don't see anything, hit the camps.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I'm playing for grubs right now.
Yeah, which I understand. But what's really important, an important concept, is that if you want to play for an objective, obviously would have liked you playing for this Drake, since you have a pushing bot lane and Aurelia has prio. See? So if we just like, after we killed the Jhin, we did Progs, we did Raptors, we can actually fight this. If it was the other way around, if the enemy team had perma pressure, your Tryndamere was pressuring, I would love this play, because at least you're getting something back. You're not just like looking at them doing it, or forcing your team into a bad situation, or just like going in there and you don't have any follow up because they don't have prio. I would have loved this play. I would have loved you to pick up these first though. One important thing is that when you want to play for side, if you want to play for top, for example, or play for the Krugs, it's really nice to get these first before you move into top side. And the reason for this is that she can't play for these camps, but she can play for these. We could have taken these, but like, now the problem with not getting these camps is that we're gonna be topside for the next like minute probably, right? We're gonna take our pulls, we're gonna go into grubs, we're gonna take this. It's gonna take like 40 seconds. We might look top, we might look at Grump. That's a huge timing for Shyvana to get all your camps and these. But you don't need to take these because these can't be invaded because you're here, right? She's not going to go for them since she's playing bot. It's awesome to be able to pick up your bot camps before you move into top, so you could do Krugs, Raptors, and then into Grubs instead. And then after, then you can just fall back to these camps because they're really close by, right? And they haven't not been able to get invaded. But since we're not doing this,
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, since we're doing the reverse, we're going into this. Now these camps are really far away for the first of all. So, and also they're invadable by Shyvana. So you want to pick up the camps on your weak side first before you move into the side that you want to play. Because like, let's say that the same goes if Grubs isn't up, if you want to play for top ganks. It's great to get these camps first, because now after you take away these, you can look for this timing. And if there's no timing now, then you can take wolves. Okay, like now you can also look for a gank. Okay, there's no gank still. Okay, then we'll just go to a grump. Okay, now there's an opportunity to gank. So you have 3 more opportunities. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that makes so much sense.
So if it doesn't work, you always have something to fall back to. But if you're like committing to taking these camps, and there's no gank, now you have to go all the way over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't mind that. This though. Oh! So, no flash, no R, no gank.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Like, 9 out of 10 times this is going to be true. And there's 3 people versus 1, and you don't have R. If you have R here, like, if you picked up one of these camps earlier,
I would have had R.
You would have had R.
That's a good point.
These are the details.
That's rough.
That looks really good, like, actually, if you have R here. But without R, without flash, like, you can get on them initially, but it's so hard to get a kill with Y if you don't, like, this early into the game. Because your Q cooldown is so long. Like, later, it's different because you have more damage, and your Q cooldown is so low, you can follow up. Like, you can Q, it's 30 seconds, you can Q again. But here, no flash, no R, you're not going to be able to follow up in most cases. They have to be really low to do
I just played here, I think, to try and get her out, mostly.
Yep. I don't mind that, but like most of the time, they're either out or they're not. Like, you showing presence, I think very, very rarely actually saves somebody, because you don't actually have any ways of stopping it. Like, this is different if you're like a Zyra, you know, because you can actually like read somebody. You don't have to commit and go in to actually stop somebody. But with VAR, you have to go in. So if you actually try to save them, most of the time you're just trading places and putting yourself behind. And if you want to climb in solo queue specifically, it's usually a bad idea, because you don't want to put your bronze Aurelia ahead if you want to become a silver or a gold player, you know?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Oh, hey, you can see me using my keys.
It's magical. Let's go. See, beautiful. No. See, it's just a little bit of, this is very common, and I keep saying this over and over. So we hit the camp, and then we see what we're gonna do. That really enforces like autopiloting, and just because it just like, we do one thing and then we just look for the next thing, instead of like thinking now, okay, what can I do with this? I'm gonna be able to pick up this in a few seconds. I should even go back 5 seconds more. Like, now you're looking for information. This is great, because this is the way we can make decisions, by getting information from all these lanes. So Tryndamere, I wouldn't say this is gankable. He still has ultimate, probably. At least we have no information that he doesn't. We have no information about his flash from what I've noticed. Nasus wants to reset. This is nothing. We got no more camps. We have quite a bit of gold. So there's no gank here. There's no gank here. We should already be making these kind of decisions, right? From you looking at the... which is great, by the way. This is awesome. This is exactly what you're supposed to do. Looking at your lane states, and then we can make the decision. But we make a decision now what we're going to do. So like, okay, here, looking, okay, no gank. No gank. If you're 50-50 on the gank, it's no gank. You know what I mean?
Okay.
If you're like
Yep.
slightly unsure. Maybe I can make something happen. Maybe no. Okay, then it's not. We need to be sure, at least like 90% sure that it should be a good gank. So then we just get it. Insta recall after we hit the last one. Ideally we want to let that pet do the last damage and then recall, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
So all the time, like Aurelia is not going to be able to help you out here. Tryndamere probably going to live from the beginning, like and understand the lane, of course. Because as we talked about, even if you can kill the Tryndamere here, your ultimate pretty much means a kill anywhere you want to do, right?
Right.
It's so impactful. So we need to use this, especially the first ultimate. It's so important that it goes to something that is going to give you more in the future. Even if we do kill the Tryndamere here, we could probably kill the bot lane instead after recall. If we recall, go into bot lane, we can probably get a kill here instead. And that's going to be more, because the Aurelia is just going to continue to lose this entire game. Just never going to get enough resources to 1v1 the Tryndamere. That's just like not going to happen. So
that makes sense.
Even if we do pick up 300 gold, we can still pick up 300 gold bot lane, and it will mean way more. We're investing time and resources into a lane that is just like doomed. This is calm.
See, how'd you know that? That's because she was right there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
She came from this. And because we left our camps vulnerable, she was like, she had nothing else to do. We do all the way from...
Yeah, I mean, it was, yeah.
Here, that Shyvana did the rub off. And we see her leave into, like, she has so much time to do all your camps. She could have taken all your camps.
True.
And it would have been, she could have taken all your camps and ganked bot lane with ultimate. Imagine.
True.
But yeah, bot lane is smurfing.
Yeah, yes. I know, right? The still cost is crazy.
Like, especially in this new patch. Like, I know this is not on the new patch. That doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. But what's even more important now is to get one lane even further ahead because of first hour. First hour gets you so far into feats of strength. Like, if you pick up first blood, that's kind of a 50-50. But if you pick up first blood, and then with a winning bot lane like this, especially a poking, sieging bot lane like this, and they keep getting kills, they're going to push down this tower really quickly. So if you kept pressuring bot lane here in this game, you 100% get this first hour. 100%.
That makes sense.
That's so key, because like that's just one Drake or one Grub, and that's instantly feats of strength really quickly in the game. And you also get first tower and a lot of plates, so it's really underrated to get that first tower with tons of plates and just like pressuring one lane and just like sack your rest. It's even better now. Now we have to look for a recall.
Should be backing right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
$2 grand. What am I doing?
Exactly. We have no ultimate too, right? So recalling when we don't have ultimate is great, especially when we have this kind of gold. Because like we don't want to make too many plays when we're sitting on so much gold and we don't have ultimate. Like ultimate is the most important thing. Also, like there's nothing specific spawning here. So in this case, when you don't have ultimate, you have nothing spawning. That is super important. There's no grubs, no drake spawning immediately. There's no like gank because you're, or like there might be a gank, but your bot lane just got kills, right?
Right.
They killed this guy and then they killed this guy maybe a little bit later, something like this. So Jhin is back, but like they're probably sitting on a lot of gold because they got double kills. They have gotten waves. So after getting all these kills, they most likely looking to recall. This will be a perfect time for you to get this, get the blue buff, and then reset yourself with all these gold. And then you can come back with your bot lane and pressure because they're winning. And then your ultimate is like soon going to be up in like 15 seconds. This is like kind of planning we need to do. So if you did have ultimate, I wouldn't mind you. It depends how close you are to Hubris. Like you're almost able to pick it up in one go, but yeah, I would like you to pick up these because you don't, because you used ultimate. If you do have ultimate, you can look to recall because then you're like active on the map. You can maybe look for an evade or do something because you're actually really fed. You could have had a few more camps on top of it, but like you're really fed. Yeah, I don't mind this.
Yeah, then it was almost just wasted time.
Yep.
And that was a lot of time just wasted.
Yes, sir. So much time. So
yeah.
And you wouldn't need it at all. Like you can know this, but like even investing, even if you were needed, let's see, Aurelia didn't move. She was just stay mid, and you were needed to get this dive. Is it even worth it? Because he's already 0-3. He's
Right.
already struggling a lot. He might even just like die there and not get all the CS. So you're wasting so much time going over here, and you still haven't recalled. Instead of picking up these camps, you're also letting your Shyvana be able to take these camps. So this guy is worth like 189 gold, something like this. If Shyvana takes both your camps, these camps are 200 gold plus experience. And that's instead of 200 gold to you, that's 200 gold to the Shyvana. So it's like even more, right? It's like 400 gold. That's more than this one kill. Plus, we don't get the reset, and also we're showing on the map, so we're giving information and pressure. So
yeah,
like this top camp. We're still looking. No, Richie Rich, and we have no ultimate, and we're looking for the Tryndamere again. This is why I think it's so important to now think about what you want to do now, because it's so much easier to not get distracted by these ganks. Because if we hit the camp and then kind of like run around, it's so likely that we're just going to find the closest new thing and then just like try to make something happen. But if you plan now, it's so much easier to be disciplined and just like go for what's actually important. Because if not, you're going to get distracted. If you keep running around the kitchen, you're eventually going to eat the cookie. That's...
No, that makes sense.
Like, if you made a decision here, now you just like hit it, you don't have any bot camps, you're kind of just like running in this direction, right? I don't think you plan to already gank this.
No, I tend to back like away from open areas.
Yeah, but
a waste of time. But
once we make the move, okay, this guy is suddenly here, and then suddenly we're quite close to mid lane, and now we can look for this. So we're just like so easy to get baited and distracted.
Yep, now I've shown wasted time.
Yes. Now you pretty much have to go for these next camps because you've shown, and these are really vulnerable. They should be gone. They would have 100% be gone already. But okay, we do hit the reset button. Good.
That's a big back.
Oh, I forgot to say that in the beginning too. Out of base. Use the Qs. Constantly, especially when you have blue buff.
Yeah.
All Makes the time. Sense. It saves time. We could have used 2 Qs, and it just like makes you a lot faster. Okay, we need to pay attention to the minimap here. Shyvana's moving over.
Yep.
You're quite fed, right? Okay, you do look for it. I can see that you're looking for it. Beautiful.
Missed my Q there, though.
Yeah. Rip.
There's a couple of things there. Top and mid didn't have prio. I mean, I understood she was there, but I assumed I was strong enough to not worry about it.
Yeah.
And even then, I probably should have worded behind
Pit. Yeah.
I think that would have been helpful.
I would have liked the word here for sure. Just like warding this kind of entrance, either just like when you go moving to it, you can just like put a ward here, or now that you just started, if you don't want to show on this bush, which I can understand, you can just put a ward here because you, as you said, you know you can engage on her. But if you engage from this angle, she's going to be able to see you and dodge that Q. But if you go from fog of vision, if she walks into here, but to be able to stand here, you need to have vision here.
Oh, yeah.
So you can just come over here and go on that kill. And with a fully charged Q, and you're 100% able to land it because she can't see you, you for sure get that kill. And you're not even forced to chase, right?
Smart. Okay.
So I actually don't mind you starting this. Like, you see Shyvana, she's on vision, they're not instantly collapsing. Even if they do start to collapse, you can just like back off. don't be afraid to back off. Like, you can try to look for this one grab, and then you can back off. And then, because you, as you said, your team didn't really have prio, but they came back to lane. But if they get a little bit of time, if enemies start moving in, eventually, when your laners are alone in the lane, they're going to start to get pushed. So like 15 seconds maybe. So once they get pushed, now they can move in. So if you're patient around this, you can turn a lot of these around. I learned so much from watching Yonkos, and he did this so well. Like, he would start it like this because he were faster than enemy jungler, but he didn't quite have prio. Okay, so he was patient. He was willing to give up on grub, and then he would play on the collapse again because, as you said, you were stronger, you can kill her. But yeah, a little bit of a ward here and come from out of vision. I don't mind this play actually, like going on her, but yeah, if you can go with a fully charged Q here, we don't fully charge it either. If you do, I think you do land it, but it's because she sees you. She's able to get dodge it, right?
Right.
And that's a lot of extra damage. That is the 300 extra damage that you need because you get another W.
Yeah, I should have been dead.
Yep, she would have 100% been dead. So I think that's more of a mechanical mistake, and a little bit like you can play patiently around those objectives. Just know that you. I don't mind you starting it if you don't have prior. If you have vision on them. If you don't have vision on them, don't do it. Then you need a bit more information. But I wouldn't mind that, because if you played it slow, like now you can see now Arella is able to move because the Tryndamere moved first. Now the wave neutralizes. Now she can move in. Like if you're here, now Nasus can move after. Like he's low on mana, but like you could have looked for something here. Definitely.
Agreed.
So if you're just playing patient, like I see it's very common. Like I see it in my chat every day, right? That my teammates won't play for objectives. And it's because of exactly things like this. We walk into river and we just start the objective, which I do think was fine here. And then we get collapsed on because we didn't have prio. But you could have had, they could have been able to move in another 15 seconds if you played slow, but very often we just like go, or we just like stay and commit for the camps and then end up dying. If we play patient and are willing to give it up, usually we can turn it around. If we made up our mind to just like go for this camp, I think it's much easier to stay away from this, and it's easier to stay away from this, which doesn't look good immediately, and this too doesn't look good right now from these conditions, right?
Yeah, the scrying orb definitely prevented me from even thinking about Herald.
Yeah, but now we're just like, we see the flag, we'll go, but I don't really see this working out, right, from this position.
No.
And I think you agree. I don't care about the Q miss. It's like fine. It's a max range Q. But we have no information. Like maybe Mundo completely grieves this by walking back up. This happens in this elo, but you have no way of knowing if he's making a good decision or making bad decisions.
Yep.
It could have easily been a Brand and a Shyvana right here. And you have no way of knowing, because they just hit the scrying orb, right? So they're probably looking, they're around here somewhere. Smolder is not able to move.
Mid.
Yeah, Jin was mid. He moved. They might be looking for Herald, so it's quite likely actually that somebody's around here.
Yeah,
quite close. So this is like super scary. This is like the quickest way to throw is to go for this kind of an engage. You're just like, okay, you drop a bounty, you drop 2 kills, you lose the Herald, and you leave your Smolder like weak. Whenever you're dead, you're leaving your teammates weak. Like even if you could say that, okay, I'm dead, so my teammates should just like play safe. If they die, it's their mistake, true. But you leave them vulnerable, and in this elo, this might be the kind of play that leaves you into getting like chain killed, one by one.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But you do get killed, but yeah, Brand and Shyvana was right here, so we're really close, right? And you play well though. Nice dodge. Buffered it. It's pretty good, but you do end up dying. Exactly what we said, right?
Yep.
We give the bounty, we did 2 kills, and that's Herald. If we just like took her camp, they wouldn't immediately been able to start this without this respawning, right? We had the scuttle crab. Everything was fine. Now we used our ultimate, which is a long cooldown, to trade 2 for 2 with the bounty and the herald.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm pretty confident at this point.
Yeah.
Because I'm really, really fed.
You're really fed. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And now, what do we do? Ah. So look for the...
I could help push top tower.
Yes. Nice, man. Nice. So just consider these opportunities. Like, you have the invade too, but I would love to pick up these first. Like, the towers are so important, and you helping out with this will just like make the games easier.
Okay.
It
I don't think
just
I do
will.
that very often.
No, it's very few players that do that. But just like push, get the towers. When you kill a couple, go get that tower. And
Okay.
especially when you see the Jin here. Okay, I'm seeing the Jin. Trindamer is bot, 2 is dead. I'm sending it. This guy is dead, right? You're so
I
dead.
have ulti. I have flash. He'll probably die before I need to use most of
that.
that.
You do look for it. Good, good, good. Susan, yeah.
I flip his name, sorry. It's a habit from when I was in college.
Oh, that's
We've always called him Susan.
Nice. So, yeah, I don't mind this. I think you're a bit aggressive. When you're playing this build, if you can like stay out of vision, you're turning a bit hard. Always look at the minimap. Like I'm while looking running here, I'm like looking at the minimap. So you would see the brand here solo. This is what you can do in the mid game so much. And mid and late game with this build in this elo, you can just like pick apart people all the time. And you just like, they always like, they're very often out of position. They're taking very greedy path and they're not considering threats very well. So this guy alone, beautiful for me. You could position.
So a recommendation there would have been to go on him.
Yeah, go on. He's the weak guy, right? Yeah. These guys are grouped up. That's not easy, especially with this build. If people are grouped up, it's pretty difficult. But you can pick them off one by one. That's perfect for this build.
Okay.
So you can just like wait behind here or going to the Drake pit. You can look for this brand. I know you don't see him on minimap, but yeah, really look at that minimap.
Group with the NASAs.
Yeah, I understand. But when you're playing this builds, especially,
makes sense.
But yeah, just like play for yourself, especially when you're fed. Like if he's the fed one, I agree. Just like try to make him strong, but you're the strong one. So use the fact that they're distracted by him and play for yourself. You're like monster fed.
Yeah, so, I agree. The brand would have just vanished.
Yeah, you can just like use him as bait, and yeah, this guy would have. You wouldn't even have to ult him, right? If you wait for the Q here, he's just like getting blown up without you using ult, and then after that, now it's a 2v2. Now you can look for this fight even, or like look for one. Maybe if you don't get any more, okay, fine. I'm moving away. I'm going to mid. We're pressuring here. There's 3 on top. I can just go over here. Yeah. Or maybe I can pick someone off when someone is rotates back. If someone stays on top, then you can maybe kill someone here. This is how I think when I'm playing this build, especially in this elo, in pretty much any elo. Like, look to pick people apart when pathing in rotations, especially when you got the Gustwalker. You're so quick. So, yeah, the rotations, you can kill him. Okay, these people will push out. Somebody needs to defend mid lane. Okay, I might be able to pick someone off here. You can use a Q constantly to like move over these walls, dodge vision, and get to positions early. That's how I think, pretty much. So that was it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, it would really help me out if you liked the video. If you want to see more, consider subscribing. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, guys.